What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Talking Points right here on the TNAIW channel. This one is for Slammiversary, and we are more than excited to talk about it. My name is Geoff. I don't know if I already said that. It's been a lot of times doing this. Alongside me for this evening is Io, Craig, and Lucha. I'll introduce them one by one, but the gang is here. We're ready to talk about Slammiversary. How did you guys enjoy it? We enjoyed it, hence the show. Let's start with Io. You know him. He's the man behind the tweets. I think he's in there. You can see him. He's not frozen. He's just audio. What's going on, Io?
Doing good, man. How you guys doing today?
Making it happen, one way or another. Jesus.
Yep. A little tired from last night, but ready, good to go.
Yes, sir. You are with 5 points, as I already mentioned. That was your predictions, 5 out of 9. I'm right there with you. But the other two have 7, starting with Craig next up from Talking Bloody Nonsense, TBN Chats, TBN Vlogs, and everything in between. What's going on, Craig?
Yes, it's me. It's me. It's the MIC.
What's going
Hello.
on, buddy? Excited for you to be here. Excited for you to do your intro. It's been a long time to hear that live. But 2, or well, 3, I guess. If our audio isn't synced up, if we're talking over each other, if our mouths aren't matching up, cut us some slack. We're trying to make this happen. We're trying to have some fun. Hopefully, you guys are along for the ride with us. And speaking of, I don't know, I have no transition, but TNAIW After Dark, legend, Mike Awesome, gold card winner, Anilo El Triane, and now on Talking Points, and did the pre-show with me. It's Lucha Dante. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, everybody? This belt is heavy as fuck.
Heavy is the crown. That's gonna be my segue. We so obviously have a lot to talk about. We won't waste too much time, but if you guys seen a show like this on ESPN called Around the Horn, it's exactly that. We're stealing it, we're ripping it off, and we're going to try to make the most of it. The points do not matter here. The winner does get to talk a little bit at the end, get to talk about everything throughout the show, so, you know. But we're going to have a good time with it. Obviously, there's a lot to get into, so we'll get right into it. But we're going to do it a little bit in reverse, pun intended. We're going to start with the reverse battle royal. So much has been said, complained about, or whatever, before, growling and moaning and groaning before the show, when the match was announced and before the show aired. Now that it's aired, now that we got to see Chase Stevens and Mike Jackson and Shark Boy, TNAIW channel favorite, oh, Shell, yeah, David Young,
Oh shit!
Slash and Mitchell, man. Let's start with Io here. And once again, it gave Macklin and Bay the rub, which was nice to have that little exchange, to have some actual two mainstays right now of Impact Wrestling go at it. And they gave Shark Boy the win. But the question here is after all of that being done finally, and we get to see it, we see the product, the moaning, groaning's gone. Did it warrant that? Or was this something that was actually achieved what I think they wanted it to?
Well, I think the match kind of served its purpose because knowing that the pre-show was like about 30 minutes, and then right after the Swan and Myers match, so there wasn't really we knew it in advance. It was probably just going to be like a quick battle royal, from the get-go, not really something to like grasp on. But yeah, I pretty much enjoyed it. I noticed Bay and Macklin kind of got their spots in, kind of let them know like, hey, they might not win this, but at least they kind of like fought their way, to like at least fought their way through it, and then eventually both guys got themselves out. But the big spot I did enjoy was Mike Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm sure we all know him. Yeah, we all Mike Jackson doing the old school, the old school around the rail. That kind of popped me the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the match kind of served its purpose for about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, I agree. I want to obviously get Craig. I'll get your points next. Real quick, though, was there someone in there that it was just like, what the who why, but not in a bad way necessarily, but like I think there were some people that were just like, what is the choices here? How are they made? But was there someone that just got you like, what the fuck?
I would say maybe Swinger's old partner.
David Young.
Yeah, David Young. Yeah, pardon me, I wasn't too familiar with Swinger's previous career, but I would say mostly him. But credits to Hannafin, and very well kind of explaining, oh, this is Swinger's old partner and this and that. So it kind of makes sense as to why he was part of the final three.
Yeah.
Sharkboy.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you.
James Mitchell, is pretty cool seeing him bringing one of the new church members.
Yep. Slash.
But I think I don't think anyone kind of surprised me.
Craig, how about you, buddy? Overall, obviously, the match itself, did it did it do what it was supposed to do? Wasn't an eyesore, and then on top of that, what surprised you the most, if anything?
So yeah, the match did exactly what it was supposed to do. Scott D'Amore said it best: to honor the past, you have to honor it all. They did that. Battle Royal. If you went into that expecting it to be anything other than a bit of fun, it was what it was. Is what it's supposed to do. As far as the match itself, I mean, Slash coming out popped me a bit. Paul, I don't know why poor David Penza had to try and introduce everyone coming out at the same time, because I couldn't even keep track of it. I don't know why that had to happen. But David Young, it took me a while to realize it was him. I didn't know it was him until Hannafin said it was. And obviously Zicky didn't make it in. Some fun spots though. Mike Jackson, of course. How could we not acknowledge that? Went on a bit longer than I thought it necessarily needed to, especially given that we were about to go to the main show after that. I don't know what more I can say on it. It was what it was. I very much disagree with the winner, but that's just
I'll give you 2 points for that. Yeah, man. I thought, obviously, Lucha checked on you in the chat as soon as it happened. We all felt it. Look, Swinger was what I thought was going to happen. I still, as Io said, gave Macklin and Bay their thing. It gave Swinger his props. Played along, to his strengths. Obviously, comedic being the most, but the David Young thing is interesting, because being like, I say I'm a day winner. Oh, I remember everything. I was like, oh shit, yeah, he just grew a little bit. Like, it's still David Young, diamonds in the rough. So I was stoked to see that. Would have been cool to see some others, but look, a lot goes into it, I think, as well. You can't just say, oh, I want this person, this person, this person. Is that person still wrestling? Is that person? I think there's a lot that plays into it, but it was cool to see. Slash was the one that got me. I was like, oh shit! Like, I mean, it's hard. It's hard when you're. I don't want to be a dick, but same with Chase Stevens. When you're a generic white dude, it's like, oh yeah, you got to squint. When it's Slash with a thing in his eye and got, you know what I mean? Like, he's got a gimmick. It's like so much easier to recognize these folk. But anyways, Lucha, I'll let you roll with that. See what hasn't been said. But let's start with the match itself. Do you think it proved its point, I guess?
Before I do that, I just have to say a quick prayer. It's less a prayer, more giving thanks. Dear people, dear person that people look to in these situations, thank you for not involving Sonny Siaki.
Boo. You lose a point for that. Come on, man. Sonny Siaki. He can't even wrestle anymore. He's injured. Oh, boo.
Good. The match served its purpose. Like everyone says, it was like, who coming into WrestleMania 17 watched, knew the gimmick battle royal was happening and thought, oh shit, this is about to be better than the Royal Rumble. No one. You know what this is going into it. So, it was good. They did what they had to do. I did like Bay and Macklin's involvement. I kind of feel like there might be a little something between them two going into the future, which I'm all for that. And I love the fact that Shark Boy won because I knew
Ballsy.
that Craig was pulling his hair out. As soon as Shark Boy won, I'm like, oh shit,
You
someone check on
fair,
Craig.
fair. Always helping a teammate because you did check to see if he was alive still. So that was really nice. Let's get into number 2. You already mentioned it, and we'll go backwards here, Lucha. I'll stay with you. We had before this. Obviously, we did this in reverse. The culmination of the DMC drama, right? With the Cardona thing we talked about in the pre-show. The Cardona thing. Now it went to Myers. Now he has his prop. He has the title belt. We can move on from here. It's not a question of, does Cardona come back? Obviously, he's injured and that's good, whatever. My question to you is, where do you think the title will go next? You already mentioned Bay and Macklin. Is that maybe a thing where we start making these, and I hate this term, but mid-carders, elevate them to that belt? Or do you see it going in a different direction?
Well, I mean, with how the roster is kind of formed, like honestly, anybody can go for this belt, and I don't think it'll be weird. Like, I mean, I guess people are seeing digital media championship and automatically like pairing it with the internet championship and how that was a joke. There was no way you could make the internet championship a legit thing. So people just putting those two together and it's writing off the title before it can even do anything, completely not looking at the fact that every DMC champ has been a world champion. So the lineage is already, it's set to me. And it's just about, who's going to take it on to the future. I would love for it to be Chris Bay, but I mean, kid needs something.
Am I on mute? There we go. What the hell is going on here? Show is off the
There
rails.
I was scared.
No, we're good. So TNA. So Craig, let's go to you. I agree with what you just said. I think that the lineage is already set. Let's just continue it. The joke thing, I think some do make that, I guess, connection there. For me, I think it's just people are too stuck in the name to say, like is the U.S. title only defended in the U.S.? No. I saw D'Lo Brown defend the European title in New York City, man. So I'm not, it's not.
Shawn Michaels is a
right.
European
So
champion.
There's things that it just is what it is. I wish we would stop harping on that. But Craig, what I am harping on is that match obviously kind of was a clean slate for that title, right? He's in possession. Where do you see it going next?
Well, first of all, if you want to have a banger of a countdown kickoff match, Rich Swann can deliver it.
Yeah.
Always. So, just to get that out of the way. But as far as the DMC goes, I like the concept of the title originally when it's supposed to be digital media exclusive matches. But obviously, they want to develop it further, make it a legit title, and a title that someone can be, someone who can elevate it, but can also be elevated by holding it. Rich Swann is a great place for it to be at the minute. Where it goes next is anyone's guess. I think, I know you said it on the mothership before. Macklin is a good shout. Bay is a good shout, like Leach just said. I think at this point, if you want it, I don't know where it's going to go. All I know is that this title can be made legit by whoever holds it. Matt Cardona did a great job of boosting it more. Rich Swann's going to do a great job, even though there's the whole joke of Rich Swann doesn't have a Twitter account.
Yeah, I mean it's fair.
But,
yeah, it's fair, and he doesn't have a Twitter account, but I don't. Once again, I don't think Shawn Michaels had a residency in Europe, so I think we're cool. Let's go on with you. Same question for you, but talking about this DMC title, obviously a clean slate. Where does it go next, or where do you want it to go next?
I'll give you guys a good example of not too long ago, there was a certain championship with a silly name that everyone was kind of moaning about it, and that title became the Universal title. And now, fast forward, it's probably the most prestigious title in that company. So,
Yeah, that's...
so yeah. So, the digital media title, yeah, it's. I mean, for anyone who would know, it's kind of like an evolution of the TV title.
Yeah.
This is kind of like Impact's way of saying, "Oh, we're advancing past the TV mantra and now into like the, you know, digital media era." So, Rich Swann, perfect choice, to like keep that title lineage going because, if you follow Swann, when he was X Division champion, he had stellar defenses.
Yeah.
When he was world champion, stellar defenses. Now with the digital media title, it ain't gonna be any more different. It ain't gonna be different.
Yeah.
So, what I'll say, what next is that, a lot of stellar digital media title defenses, and onward forward.
Yeah, great points, man. And that's the thing is, we need, even though the X Division title is that, it already gets the prestige to have some workhorse, work rate title, and have guys like, well, first of all, Grace, Cardona, now Swann, and keep that lineage alive of just people who can go. That's not a bad way to distinguish that title. Let's go. Everyone started. So let's go with Craig on the next one. We're going to keep going. We're a little bit over, so be more whatever on the minutes. But we started off with Ultimate X right from the get at the show. Obviously, a replacement with Andrew Everett over Jack Evans. Sad for me, but happy as well. He had some good spots of his own. If you were watching this, though, for the first time, I don't, obviously we'll talk about the winner. You could, whatever you could fit into your minute. But if you're watching this for the first time, who stood out to you? Because I think that's important. Because I think there were a lot of people that maybe gave Impact a chance for the first time again. And then 2, Ace lost his belt right after the momentum of coming to New Japan. What does that do for Ace? And does he need it at this point? I thought he should go to, cash that thing in for Bound for Glory. But where do you see Ace going? Who stood out to you? And why the hell did Bailey win without putting his feet on the ground? It's because he wears no shoes. What is the deal here? Craig.
As far as who stood out in that match, they all shone. Every single person in that match had their minute. They shone. They smashed it. Alex Zane was great. Andrew Everett, 7'4",
Yeah, tall guy.
and doing all that 7'4". But yeah, I forget who else is in that match. Honestly, there's just so much going on. Trey hitting that destroyer, beautiful. But Speeble, Mike, King Bailey, finally. I said when he first signed, within a year he'll be X Division champion.
Give you that. Give you your props.
And happened before that. So I'm cool with it. As far as the feet on the floor stuff, that has been the case for the last 2 or 3 Ultimate X's. It didn't happen with Josh. Didn't happen with Trey. Or before that, it didn't. So it doesn't matter.
Craig.
It shouldn't have been.
First of all, Craig, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Okay, I tell you this all the time. 2 rights make an airplane. Ask Lucha. That's true. But my point is if 3 people have done it wrong in the past time, doesn't mean that it's right if he doesn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be, like, that's part of the thing. That's the match. You can't just... I know you're a Patriots fan, so if Tom has deflated balls, everyone can have deflated balls. I get that. But, you know what I mean? Lose your one. Lucha, why don't you give me your take on this? Craig, you get a mute. Follow the rules.
Yeah, take that, Craig. You should play Sharp Boy song in Craig's ears for 15 seconds. But who stood out? I mean, everyone did stand out, but Speedball had like the most holy shit spots, like spots that made you like kind of like get to the edge of your seat just to see how it was gonna end. that Ultimo Lucha off the wires, it was a work of art. And then I was listening to Busted Open earlier. They were talking about the match, and Bully Ray didn't like that he did that when you're supposed to be going to win the match. Man. But if you notice, before he did that, Andrew Everett climbed up. He fought off Everett and then was going to go for the belt, and then looked at the belt, looked at Everett, looked at the Calamity, and said, "Fuck it."
Yeah, man. There you go.
Everyone stood out in the match to me, especially Speedball, which makes me glad he won.
Yeah,
he may not hold the belt.
Right, that's what we gotta see, man. Maybe he cashes in. Who knows? I want to get your take on Ace. We'll swing back after Io's turn just to see where you think he goes next. Just make a quick prediction. But we talked about in the pre-show. I just thought that Bailey wasn't ready because the traveling thing. I don't think he's over in all markets compared to I think Ace now that he went to Japan. I think he would be. But I think tonight, if anyone watched this, he'll be hot in all the markets. Because, before I think the complaints we were referring to on Twitter were, oh, he's stale, he's just, what was the one specific? Steve Blackman 2.0 or some shit. And I was just like, not everyone needs flames and a mask and everyone could do their thing and get over, and I thought last night he did. As far as the thing, that's a great point because I didn't hear that. Tom Hannafan again, and I can't remember who had said that, but putting that over and saying, oh yeah, he did that because he saw Andrew Everett on his back. He said, I'm not going to make it to the X anyways. Let's fucking take out these 5 guys underneath. I thought it was dope.
Yeah.
Io, your points on it, bud.
Yeah, same with you guys. Everyone stood out. To me, I said before, this is the most star-studded X Division match in a long time because everyone stood out.
Yeah.
Everyone's a fan favorite. I like the Trey Miguel doing the Canadian Destroyer, thing on Alex Zane.
Yep.
Then Andrew Everett doing his flips. Yeah. Once with an Ultimate X, it's just gonna deliver. And Speedball, yeah, I'm with Craig. Been a big fan of him since I would say probably maybe almost a year now. But as soon as he came into the U.S., he's been shining in every show. Every show he's in, I just keep hearing Speedball this, Speedball that.
Yeah.
So it was only we knew it was only a matter of time he was gonna win the championship, and lo and behold, he is.
Yeah. Real quick, swing. Oh yeah. I was just gonna swinging back. We'll talk Ace.
The touching on the feet. He
Oh,
must have thought this was the Steel Asylum match or something.
Yeah, right. We'll talk about the gimmick of this show. I think over the course of this, there were a lot. It was of course going to happen. It's going to be a little bit overbooked. It's Slammiversary. There's things they wanted to get in, but you still got to follow the rules. Real quick, Ace Austin, if you could predict next feud, 1-2 words, who's that person?
Next feud.
Like what could salvage? Obviously he's going to get his rematch, I imagine, right? So after that, though, where do you think he's going? World? Is that where his next step is?
I think for Ace, this is where he starts, building up his stock for bigger things.
Okay.
For maybe a feud with Sami Callihan, because Sami, he's one of those guys that can elevate, his opponents.
Nice.
So I would say, yeah. If he's not going to win the X Division title anytime soon, put him in high profile spots and feuds.
Sure. Craig?
Yeah.
Ace, Bay, tag team titles.
Damn, that's bold. I'll give you 2 for that, buddy. Lucha.
Against all odds, Ace and Bay versus Trey and Win.
Oh! Bold as well. All right. We'll leave it on that. We'll let you guys let that marinate. We'll go to number 4 in the process. So next up is Team Ragnarok are your new KO Tag Team Champions. Influence, I think, did a great job of establishing themselves, if you like them or not, as the heel mainstays of that division, right? They are a tag team. You look at them, you hear them, they are a tag team. which is nice. So it's okay that I felt that they lost the titles because they've earned the ability to not need to have them, rather. But I think with Chelsea and Deanna together, I mentioned this on the pre-show, so sorry if it's redundant. But them, Savannah and Tasha, now that Tasha's not in the knockout, maybe main event picture, Giselle is searching. Havoc and Sue is, I think, something we need to look at because there's no way Havoc is happy that Rosemary found someone else while she was missing in one. But who went last? Craigie went. Let's go Lucha. Lucha, I always say one step forward, one step back with this division. Feels like we get someone, we lose someone, we get someone, something happens. Do you think this is going to be the rejuvenation to where we could pinpoint in history and say, okay, now we're going to have that lineage continue and maybe spice this up so people stop tweeting us about it all the time?
I feel like they have on the roster the perfect combination of perfect random pieces. You can throw, coming out of this, you can throw Deanna Chelsea as a tag team easily, Tasha Savannah easily. To take it, but to challenge something you said, you're on some Sue and Havoc shit. Havoc and Slammiversary. I feel that would be the team.
I think there's someone coming in that me and you talked about recently, like today recently, that would be better suited for Masha. To be a tag with Masha.
Hey, I'm fine. I just want her on my TV.
We're talking Killer Kelly, everybody. We're talking Killer Kelly. All right. Let's go. Yeah, Craig, let's go right to left here. Craig, what's your thoughts on the tag division as a whole, where we're at? And where do you see him going next? Like, where are we going?
So, as far as the tag division goes, obviously more teams are needed. It just have to have more teams in it. Deanna and Chelsea does seem like the next possibility. I mean, you saw, obviously not to go too ahead of myself, but in the table spot and the Queen of the Mountain, as they're going down, they are clinging on to each other for dear life. Like, you can tell they're friends.
We're going through this together.
So, yeah. So, but as far as the tag, for the match, just quickly, wasn't my favorite, but still was really good. Okay. So, I think as far as the tag outs go, they were safe hands with Ragnarok, and next up, I don't know. I think Havoc will be involved against Decay or Ragnarok in some form with someone. I don't know who, but I think Havoc will be one of the next challenges for the tag titles.
I'll clean that up for me. What's your opinion?
These titles were made for Taya and Rosemary.
Ooh.
I said that from the moment they started becoming a team. I'm like, as soon as the Knockouts tag titles are coming, they're going to be the first champs. Obviously, that didn't happen, but here we are. The titles are where they're supposed to be with, Ragnarok. As far as the division, this is where help is on the way for the tag division. Because now you got Deanna and Chelsea, Ty, Savannah, I think Giselle and Alicia. Yeah, you can see more teams kind of forming along the way, but you can notice it's growing.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I think if once again we're fantasy booking. We don't know if these teams are going to stay together or are going to form. You mentioned Giselle and Lish. Lish had a match against Savannah Evans on the what would you call it? Dark show? I don't know what you call it. House show. What is that called? Dark match? No. Like before Slammiversary, where no one saw it besides the.
The digital.
Oh, is that what they filmed? Okay. So I didn't know if they were writing out Lish or what they were doing there as far as is she still supposed to be beaten, and that was just for the crowd. But yeah, I think Masha thing's interesting as well. Giselle needs somebody still. Lady Frost is looming, I hope, and there's some more knockouts coming. So we'll see where that goes. And a lot of Taylor Wilde references over the past week from Scott on different platforms. So who knows if we get some... I don't know, her and Sarita back? That'd be interesting. But let's keep moving on here. Right now, it's 26-25, 25. Io back in it, taking the lead here. But with so many winks, so many nods that happened last night, we had obviously the main event, which we'll talk about, where there were a lot of nods there. We got the well-deserved tribute to Don and Mike. We got the one to Bob Ryder. And I'm not trying to put a damper on it, but I'm going to say, is there anyone that you think they missed out that was a big glare for you when it came to the tributes? And then also, and then we'll talk about this separately, so I don't want to talk about the 3 that did give videos. But Samoa Joe came out today and said he was never asked, and he wasn't available anyways to send a video. Very interesting, but that came out today. He put a tweet out regarding that because he heard a lot of people complaining. So let's start with Io here on this one. Your thoughts on if they missed it with anybody as far as tributes, and then also your thoughts on that Samoa Joe statement.
I think they kind of that's a good question. I think they kind of gotten the most important key people for the company. I mean, from the Bob Riders to the Don West and Mike Tenay. I would say probably Jeff Jarrett. I mean, can't go wrong and kind of acknowledge his vision. But Jeremy Borash is another. But I noticed Jeremy put out a tweet. Congratulating him. But, as far as Samoa Joe, hey, I don't think a majority kind of expected he was going to be there. But someone probably would say a video tribute because he's in AEW and AEW and Impact friendly. But hey, it is what it is. At least he kind of gave them their good luck tour. So
yeah, he did. He was pleasant about it. He wasn't rude about it. I think he did it to kind of just tell people to chill out. It's not a big deal. I didn't know. I didn't snub them or whatever. I think it's funny you mentioned the AEW thing. I think this actually goes to a bigger picture. AJ thanked WWE about how, and we'll get to him obviously, but AJ thanked WWE for knowing how important it was for him to do this. Davey Richards thanked MLW for knowing how important it was for him to do this. Kazarian didn't say that shit. And there was no one from AEW besides Sting, who you gonna tell? What are you gonna tell Sting? He'll tell you shut the fuck up. Right? He's Sting. There wasn't much. And they could have, Daniels, who abruptly came in and then was gone the next week. So I don't think the bridge is there is as good as is with other companies. But with that, with all the things we just talked about, Lucha, I'll let you touch on that.
Okay, this is where I sound like a salty TNA fan, and I'm only halfway serious when I say this, but Joe had his Ring of Honor moment, when he came in at Supercard and did that whole situation, So I guess he picked one. He went with Ring of Honor, and then also, I'm sure he wasn't available because isn't he doing Twisted Metal with Peacock? So I wouldn't be surprised if that was why he wasn't available. Now, what I will say is this: he could have filmed a minute video or some shit a while ago. You know what I'm saying? Fucking Samoa Joe, Tessa Blanchard over here. But no, everybody, the pillars of the history of the company got their due. And then even with, the people who did talk, they put over people as well, because AJ put over Joe and Daniels a lot. We got a Jarrett promo where it wasn't new Jarrett shit. It was old Jarrett shit, but they made it make sense. The whole Tenay and Don West thing. The pillars got their flowers, so I feel like that's good, and we don't need to nitpick at everything. We got AJ, so I don't give a fuck. They could have marched Sonny Siaki out, and I would have been like, I don't care. We got AJ.
Stop calling out Sonny Siaki. Craig, why do you kill that one for us?
I'm with Lucha on this pretty much. I don't think they missed anyone really. They hit on who was crucial to the company. Without them, it wouldn't be a company. So I think they got it spot on. And honestly, with Samoa Joe thing, yeah, mate, he could have filmed a quick video. I mean, Kurt Angle felt like he was paid to do a cameo.
Thank you.
Yes, it just didn't. Nah, I don't think it needed. They hit on everyone they needed to hit on. Everyone important got their nod. Dixie, Jarrett. I mean, and Scott even thanked Billy Corgan.
Billy Corgan was there.
Yeah. Everyone who has been a big part of the company got a nod yesterday, and that's all we're asking for. We knew it was going to be nostalgia heavy, and that's what we got.
Yeah, I agree, man. I get extra props for that Kurt Angle thing. It looked like they just woke Kurt Angle up out of bed, and we're like, bro, it's June 19th, man. Come on, hurry up, Jesus. Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, damn, Kurt, you couldn't even get out of your like podcast room, like just go somewhere, like go to, I don't know, fuck. But it was nice to see him. I knew it was coming. That's one of the things that I had heard, but I didn't know it was like that. But I agree. I think they hit all the mainstays. I guess a Borash thing here and there, but I think there's some people that the same with Jarrett. Now that he didn't get to go and do a guitar or anything like that, obviously he's working with the E, which I see, buddy. I'll give you a second. But I think you got to understand at the same time, like, yeah, it's a 20th anniversary. Bygones are bygones. I mean, Corgan and Dixie are both in the same room, for fuck's sake. But there's some things that just reality or life just doesn't, it can't make happen. And maybe Samoa Joe's was just timing. Maybe, they gave him enough fucking references on the show. I mean, between the matches and Josh Alexander, who even had the symbol. So I don't think there's anything like that, but I think in some cases there might be. With Jarrett and maybe Borash.
When you think about it, Joe, I think debuted in 2004.
Yeah. At the end of 2004, yeah. Final Resolution.
Yeah. So the main important figures from the 2002 era, yeah, they were there.
Yeah. Maybe 2005. I think Lucha's on the thing there. And you had something to say, Lucha. I'll let you talk as well. But might be the end of 2004, beginning of 2005, because Final Resolution is, I think, where he made his debut against Sanjay, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll have to check. Anyway, but same point. Yeah, the point doesn't change. Lucha, what were you going to say, bud?
Well, two things, both small. So last night we really had Billy Corgan, Ed Nordholm, and Dixie Carter in the same room. Yeah. Thinking about that's just fucking wild.
It's
yeah. And as far as the pre-tapes that got sent in, I couldn't help but notice, like, Sting's pre-tape was, they used AEW cameras to do that. Because they looked like you could take that tribute video and put it on Dynamite. AJ's video, it looked WWE produced as well. Like, it looked like Vince and JB were behind the camera on that one. Kevin Dunn's like, go to the wall camera. Yeah, fucking Kevin Dunn produced the hell out of that.
I'll give you some for that.
I love how he just walked in, took his seat. You just kind of had that moment of realization, like, oh, can it be? Like,
it was beautifully done. It was beautifully done. It's beautifully done. And I'll save that news for later. I don't know if you guys saw the news that it was about AJ, but. Nothing too crazy, but let's move on before we get past our time here. Real quick, number 7. We're talking about tag team titles. Ended what I thought was a surprise, obviously to some of you not, because some of you got it right. But and I'm skipping here, but we'll go back. We thought, Good Brothers obviously aren't gone, or for the time being. We won't get into all that per se. But AMW. I think that's the story here. The Briscoes dropped the titles. We can argue all day about if they're staying or not. I don't think because they lost it definitely means that. They do have a rematch. We'll see where it goes. But how damn cool was that return? Let's start with you, Craig.
I mean, it's annoying a little bit because I missed the guilty bit. I missed that. Didn't quite hear it.
Okay.
Which that's the whole point of their entrance. You want to hear that, but yeah, it's fucking cool. What more can I say? MW popping up. They had to, even though I know a lot of people thought Storm would be the fifth man. Wasn't, but still got a cool moment. It had to. I think if it was going to be started at some point in the show, it had to be during the tag division. And we got a little sorry about your damn.
Yeah, they still hit the key things. I thought it was really cool. I won't take anyone's points before they get to speak them. So let's go, Lucha. Why don't you say your points on this? But I think there's some cool things that happen there. I see you making some faces. What's going on?
They hit almost all their spots. There's one thing that would have made it perfect. If Gail would have been,
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
If they've had Gail come out with them, like, because I was already in shock that the Good Brothers actually won. Like, I picked them, but I was like, oh yeah, my predictions are terrible. Not last night. I damn near booked the whole card, but no, like, I was in shock that the Good Brothers won, and then we find the defendants guilty.
Yeah.
And I was
froze.
And plus, I told you what's happening with the Good Brothers and the tag titles, I believe. And it's funny that I said what Ace Austin's next rivalry was going to be. Just keep that.
So you think that's where it goes? You think eventually, you think the Briscoes are gone then, or do you think they just move into something else? I still find with everything going on with Warner that they would take that chance, but.
New Japan and the NWA are a thing. So wait, and didn't they win the Crockett Cup? Yeah. So they got unfinished business in NWA. They can run Mosey and do NWA things, and then do Japan things, and could come back. I think the Briscoes aren't tied anywhere, so they got a lot of freedom to do things. And I didn't think Impact would want to keep the belts.
That's fair.
On that. Uncertain.
I think they got the pop out of putting the belts on them, and there's nothing wrong with then making them earn the titles back. Maybe if they lose it here, the rematch, then they just kind of go back into the titles or into the ranks essentially. But I hope they stay. Io, let's go to you to clean up that one. Your thoughts on them winning the titles, I guess, and then how damn cool was the AMW thing? I'm waiting for someone to mention something, by the way.
Yeah, same with you guys. Completely took me out of left field. I thought the match was good. Should have been False Count Anywhere, but it was all good. Knowing that we know that their contracts are expiring, I can't say that I'm surprised that once again, do the whole, here, we'll put a title on you, maybe extend you, a few more, then yada, yada, yada. For the Briscoes, they're, I wouldn't say they're, like, bound to head anywhere anytime soon. I think they're kind of free agent, still, like, around the free agent, so we could still see them around, Impact, a bit more. NWA, like Lucha said. And then, the moment it appeared, I didn't think it was going to happen that night, but I'm glad it did. And I told you guys I was screaming when I heard
that's right.
Find the defendants guilty. Storm Harris doing the signature pose. It was pitch perfect, man. And then Storm cutting the promo, addressing the haters and this and that. It was it was like a perfect get together of like past, present, future of tag teams. So it was real good.
Yeah, I agree with your points. The one thing I was looking for was the beer at the end. I don't know if you got they gave Chris Harris water, and that's some good shit because everyone needs a designated driver. And I was like, what the? They all had each of their names on it too, which was interesting. Maybe they're particular, but that moment was funny to me. That one got me. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go to Monsters Ball. It's back in old form. 24 hours are locked away. Obviously, I already mentioned Moose stealing the hot dog from the plant and eating it. I thought that was a nice touch because once again, commentators killed it. He needs his nutrition. He's a 5-star athlete.
Yeah.
I thought that was dope. And then, how did you, obviously, I think we all enjoyed the match. But did the W, what I want to know is, did the W or the L matter to either of them? Even after seeing this match, did you give a shit who won? Let's go, Craig.
Absolutely not. Did the win and loss matter? It did not. Yeah, you could say Moose, just coming for the world title win, needed a big win. But Sammy, to play this story off right, Sammy was sat at home waiting to get his hands on Moose. Waiting. See Moose go for a world title run, and knowing Moose put him out and they have to put him on the shelf for that long. Sammy, I think, had to win that one more than Moose, but it didn't matter either way because Sammy can, if he wanted to, proclaim himself to be Mr. Slammiversary. He has put on some absolute bangers at Slammiversary, and this was no exception. The Monsters Ball had to be part of the 20-year celebration, and giving it to Sammy. Safe hands. Moose, again, safe. I mean, of course, there a couple of idiots with the "you fucked up" chant.
Yeah,
but,
thanks for pointing that out.
It was the match. The match delivered as everyone knew it would. That spot for the door. I don't like seeing doors in wrestling, especially on TV wrestling, because it is what it is. But delivered just perfection. You can't fault them for what they did.
Nice. Io.
I think we saw probably the best Monsters Ball match in history. If we can go back,
Ballsy.
It was real good. Hey, I'm just putting it out there. Probably the best Monsters Ball match. I love when old school things kind of like bring into it. They did the whole 24 isolation.
Yeah.
And then Moose kind of react into it like he needs his nutrition.
He needs his nutrition, right?
Yeah. The table spot. Yeah, when Moose did the he does the gets on the top rope and then the fall.
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, what is he thinking? Like, this is the last time he got hurt doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's a great point.
But yeah. And then for Sammy Callan, he got a lot of nicknames. Death Machine, Draw. Like Craig said, give him Mr. Slammiversary.
Yeah, I agree, man. Someone made that point or that collage. I don't know who it was, but it was dope to see just how much every Slammiversary he puts out a banger, and I thought this was no exception. Obviously, Lucha, I'll let you get in your points before I ramble on or steal your points. But I thought, man, without taking anything away, this match was. I don't know if I could, as a day one homer, I don't know if I can say that this was the best, but it was pretty damn close. There's one with. Was it Hardy, Sabu, Abyss, and not Monty Brown? Jeff Hardy. Did I say that? Yeah. Anyways, those four. Yeah. Did I say Jeff Hardy twice? I don't know. Lucha, take it away. But yeah, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I could say that, but I'm with you.
When it's all said and done, good luck finding a Sami Callihan match and being able to say that was his best Slammiversary match. Yeah. Like y'all are saying, because like we all said, the man does not miss. Pentagon, come on now. Tessa, I don't remember what he did at 20. Was 20 when he fought Shamrock?
No, we were at 21. 20 he fought Shamrock. Team with Shamrock.
Team
with Shamrock.
No,
that might
be
the one. That might be the one week one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch. I'm gonna have to, because that was when the North couldn't put on any bad matches. So, and last year with Kenny, and then this one, the man does not miss of this month, of this pay-per-view. The botch that we're talking about with Moose trying to go for the whisper in the wind type situation. Here's what if you look at it, go watch the match again. Before he went and did it, he kind of shook himself off, still selling the eyes situation. So you can easily chalk that up to that could have been a purposeful botch,
right?
Honestly,
right.
For all we know. But like how they did it, you know what I'm saying? He shook off his eyes and everything and then went for it and fucked up.
Right.
So, that could have proved that Moose was out of his element more.
They could and I think the commentators covered for it well, if it was intentional or not. Either way, he then got pushed through a table off the spot, so obviously he was going to fuck up either way, one way or another, designed or not. I just think it's I wrote you guys in the chat. It wasn't like a thing of like, hey, I just didn't know people still like, oh, this is fake and you just fell, like still did that. Like I get it, man, like he slipped, but it was just weird to me that fans still do that. I don't know, blew my mind.
Yeah, no, because they're supposed to be perfect. They're supposed to be able to do all these spots and everything, with everything working out, perfectly.
Right.
They're robots,
I've never seen a blown coverage in football either. Yeah.
There's botch accounts, like capturing every botch from every episode, like AEW and all that stuff. I'm like,
right.
Come on, guys. It happens. Come on.
If you churn out botch, I don't think I'd be as mad as you fucked up. Like a botch happens. That's a mistake. That's an accident. You fucked up is like you're an idiot. How can you jump from one rope to the second to the third and then fall? Like, dude, come on. Did you see how flimsy the ropes were in the beginning? First of all, jeez, people are just. I can't even get off the couch sometimes without pulling something. So I don't know why we're bitching about these people. But keep going here, Lucha. Let's go with you, and we'll go right to left here, real quick. Speaking of returns, that was not a good segue because it was supposed to be AEW. Oh my fuck. So not speaking of returns, but we are speaking about returns. Sting does a video, Angle does a video, AJ does a video. I mean, out of the three, really quickly, which were you most surprised to see on Impact TV? And which was your favorite? Let's do that. And that puts you in it. I don't want your dad again.
I can't. I mean, I didn't. I went in the room and tried to talk to Dad after that promo. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like he looked like he was reading the fucking cue card. Like that was a cameo with cue cards, and that was fucking terrible.
And we want him to wrestle still.
Hey, I want to thank you guys in TNA and Impact Wrestling for all the wonderful years of memories that y'all gave me. I really, really, really liked the time I was in the ring with Geoff. That's what the fuck we got.
It was the Hallmark card equivalent of a video. But so I'm guessing, was that still your favorite, though? You got about 10 seconds.
No, least favorite. AJ's was my most favorite. His was like really heartfelt, and it was it was real heartfelt. It was kind of heartbreaking, with what came out like a couple weeks ago with Jarrett talking about how he would have loved to stay and took less money for less dates, and Dixie was like, no. And I'm like, bro. But no, AJ's was the best, hands down. And had you asked me in December if this was going to happen, I would have been like, hell no. But after the Royal Rumble with Mickey, we were
which is funny because they both did us a favor technically. like it gave us such a rub for her going there, and this one did as well. Craig, who was the best out of them? Well, who's your favorite?
Well, I'll go for my reactions as each video popped up. Sting. Oh well, that's cool. Nice. I'm glad he got to do something. Angle. Fuck was that? And then AJ, edge of my seat. Is it? Holy fuck, it's AJ Styles.
Yeah.
What more to be said? It's AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Back on Impact. Yeah, you can say it's whatever it's for video. The Rock did a video for Impact, So
Good call.
This
Yeah,
is
I
huge.
agree with you. Io. Oh, sorry. Go.
It's a huge.
Io.
I think
Oh,
it
it
said he
left.
left.
He left. Well,
Real quick though, take advantage of this quick break. Per PW Insider, at one point there were plans for AJ to
yeah, that's what
actually
I was
show
holding
up.
off news-wise to mention is that, yeah, it was in talks for him to do that. I don't know what fell through, but either way, I'm stoked that it happened. Let's keep running through this because we're going past our time. Maybe this was a message sent from the heavens. Sorry, Io, we love you. Thank you for all the hard work you do on the channel. But once again, we'll keep the returns going. Let's go with you, Craig. Impact Originals, I guess we'll call it, as they were calling it, versus Honor No More, kind of try to let you down a little bit by saying it could be someone on the roster already. So it was interesting that they kind of try to set us up for a fall. I know some people are disappointed. I thought it made a lot of fucking sense for him to be him. Taking a step, it was just weird, the setup, because for a second, Dixie Carter coming out to announce it, one, it made me think of August 1st Warning, because that's who I thought was going to come for August 1st when Dixie announced that. But it was Davey Richards, so that was weird. I thought it could have been EC3, which if he came back with his music and just did the trouble dance and everything and just acted like nothing changed, the greatest moment in Impact history. But it was Davey. I was still excited about that. I thought the match was great. You got involvement from Tracy. You had what a touching and dope Earl spot, man. I was like, why is Earl just around the ring being weird? And then he went up and took off the shirt. That was a moment. Your thoughts of the whole match, Davey being the person and the involvement of Tracy and Earl.
Well, first to touch on Davey. Obviously, there were a lot of talks of who could it be. Everyone was fantasy booking it, thinking it would be, this is where WWE pay back the favor. It wasn't. I wanted it to be, my prediction was at this. But Davey coming out, yeah, cool. It made a lot of sense. Even though it was slightly confusing because the Wolves were teaming together like 3 months ago. That was my issue with it.
That's fair.
But in terms of the match, honestly, I think it was a bit too fast. I couldn't. I enjoyed it, but there's a lot going on at the same time, and I struggled to keep up with how was happening in that match. Didn't know who was legal at any point during the match. El Hebner, great moment. Again, two just fucking incredible moments. Scott Demore commentary.
Scott. Yeah, I forgot about Scott. Yeah, good point. Lucha. Oh, sorry.
But like I said, just the match felt a bit too fast.
I hear what you're saying on that. I'm gonna go watch it again, maybe 3 times as Lucha did. But I thought overall it was good. Lucha, let's get your points in because we're obviously against the clock here. But did you think it was too much, too overbooked, or is that what this kind of? I don't know. Do you give it a pass?
I didn't think it was overbooked, honestly. I mean, it was TNA and Ring of Honor. Like, they're known for like balls to the wall action. So like for us getting balls to the wall action, that's what we need. That's that's what they give us. That's why we're here in the first fucking place. I did see some comments about, even though you say the crowd was dead, period. But they were saying the crowd was dead for this match. But watching the match over, it's a hard disagree on my part. It sounded like everyone was into everything that was going on. I got 450
fat
points.
fingers.
But no, the match was great. As far as Davey, of all the people that I would have thought about of who it could have been, I don't know how I blanked on Davey. And then Craig, as far as Davey and Eddie teaming up, yeah, they were, but that wasn't in Impact canon, so that doesn't technically matter. And that also added to the holy shit, it's Davey, because Eddie's like, hey bro, we were just together a week ago. And David's like, "Fuck you! It's about TNA."
You know, I will give you, I'll give you another point for that, because the crowd, you know, look, I at some points during that thought they were just very like Japanese crowd, like just admiring it, which I, under the circumstances, maybe there's a lot of new, you know, Impact fans there. Maybe there's a lot of people who are tired from Father's Day shit. Who knows? But I thought there was a lot of sitting and you know, kind of clapping. But I thought in this match, actually, there was a lot of TNA chants and a lot of different things. I thought the TNA at the end was great. So I thought they got behind him here. The fast thing, I get your points on both sides. I'll have to go watch it back. I mean, what do you do on 5 vs. 5? Unless it's elimination, what do you really do? Shout out to Mike Bennett, by the way, with the Miracle. I think I was the one that actually pointed that out to me. But yeah, you know, it is. I thought it was a great thing. It encompassed everything we needed to have for it to be Impact versus. I don't know. I dug it.
Would they have rathered a typical 5-on-5 Survivor Series type match where it's like the slowest 10-man tag of your life?
I don't know. I like elimination style matches, but I think I think what spotlighted it is in a night of overbooking intentionally because you have so much shit to put into the show. This just stuck out a little bit, so I'm gonna go watch it back and see what my side of that. But let's move on to Queen of the Mountain, and I think we get Io back in here. Jordynne Grace is the first Queen of the Mountain. Great showing by all. I thought there were some spots that were good. I thought some spots were head scratchers, but some really good shit overall. You know, Jordynne took the championship. That's what I was looking for, because I think Tasha. It sucks for her character because we talked about in the pre-show. She needed that first of history-making thing, but maybe they spin her off and do something else with her. But Jordynne is, if you got to recognize her as maybe the best overall knockout we have, and that's saying a lot because I love Deonna, obviously, but Jordynne just has something. I don't know. I think Io's back in here, so Io, you want to gain some points here?
Yeah. I'm starting to understand why the Queen of the Mountain, no, I mean the King of the Mountain is a very hard match to retain the championship. Yeah, the match it was awesome. Like so many spots, like everyone shined, including Mickey.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, for Tasha, yeah, I kind of like thinking like, man, like she's getting pinned, she's in the Lux box, like. It's had me thinking like she might not retain the title right. But then like, and it's very interesting that Jordynne did the interview a while back about how her first title reign she felt like she didn't get to do much, but now lo and behold she's getting that second chance. So I'm looking forward to it. She's the workhorse of this division, and we talked about on like a certain individual who we're going to be looking forward to her face down the line.
Yeah, I think there's a possibility for a Bound for Glory mega match with her and Masha. I think that could be a really a game changer. Lucha, let's go to you. Your thoughts on the match, the loss, the win, and Jordynne going in. And also, what about spots? Was there a spot that was obviously your favorite? Minute on you.
I just love the business that the Queen of the Mountain match did for the Knockouts tag division going forward. That's really my biggest takeaway of it, because like Chelsea, we were saying on the pre-show and then earlier, Chelsea and Deonna, that could be a team going forward. Y'all noticed their gear was similar colors. I love that every time Chelsea was like about to do something, she just had that I'm fucking crazed look. She's like, yeah. And even Deonna got in on the reindeer games. I enjoyed that as well. I enjoyed the business that it did for the tag division. I enjoyed that ode to, and it's another one of those like sneaky tributes that they kind of threw in. Chelsea, at least how I felt, Chelsea and Deonna going through the table was just like almost how Bubba and Matt went through the table at
Yes.
Full Metal Mayhem with the Hardys, Wolves, and 3D. And then Mia Yim with her tribute to
Yeah.
Shelton's Money in the Bank ladder
Yeah,
run
I
as
tweeted
well.
that shit out.
I think Chelsea cushioned Deanna's fall a little bit.
Yeah, that's
A lot of
yeah, that
it.
was
At least her hand.
yeah, right. It was yeah. It was I thought man, they shattered that table. There was like no like, oh, it's bracing a little. It like AC Romero style. That shit exploded. Yeah. Craig, why don't you wrap this one up for us so we can move on to the World Heavyweight?
So there's a couple of points I want to touch on about this Queen of the Mountain match. One, before the match, or long before the match, Jordan Grace tweeted that she wants to win every title in Impact. And for me, let her go full fucking Kurt Angle.
Ooh.
Give them all. I'm all for it. And second, you lot pulled me up on the Mike Bailey not putting his feet on the ground. Jordan didn't technically hook the championship.
Okay.
Hannafin said strap it up.
Fair is fair.
So you don't pull me up on that, but Jordan Grace didn't technically hook the championship. As far as the match goes, as far as it goes, great match. I mean, there's a few dodgy moments like Tasha forgetting the rules and the double pinfall. A double pinfall, but then Hannafin saying Jordan isn't eligible yet. There's a bit sus going on there, but all in all, the knockouts don't miss. The best division in pro wrestling.
Yeah. Man, to your credit, I give you some extra points for that. Yeah, I tweeted that or wrote you guys in the chat, man. Tasha kicked out because she got confused as fuck. That's what had to happen. There's no other excuse for that weird first pinfall. But then once it got in the rhythm of it, I thought they hit all the sweet spots, man. That Shelton Benjamin wink was great. The falling through the tables was a nice nod. They work their ass off. I think sometimes when you're trying, there's some you try some extra stuff like, okay, let's slow down a little bit. You're all trying to get your shit in, whatever. But overall, man, I and I'll have to go back and look so I can compare them. But I thought this was a hell of a way to show off that style of match, without the same old tired. Oh, it's crazy. The rules are crazy. Like they're not that crazy. And I think they showed that last night. Had they just maybe knew the rules themselves a little bit. The Jordan thing, though, is a great point. I gave you some extra points for that. I think it's a possibility that maybe she's scared of heights because she would not go past a certain point, and she was just like that. She was like, "That's it. That's good enough for me." But let's go. We'll start with Io here. This is the last one I got for you guys. Josh versus EY. I thought it was still a classic. I don't think it'll get that 5-star that I was hoping it would because I think they booked a lot into this. But once again, that will be my question for you guys. It wasn't Grado Spud level overbooking, or not overbooking, but winks and nods like that. I thought they flowed pretty well. It wasn't just finisher for finisher. I thought I won't get into it. I'll let you guys earn your points. But overall, I thought it was a fun match. A great way to end the show. Josh looked like a fucking beast. And that's the way, with no help, mind you, he won. And I thought that was pretty cool. Io, your thoughts on the match as a whole, and happy to see Josh retain, I guess.
Yeah, this was as great as any babyface heel match. Like everyone shined, including Diener and Doran, which is great because it's not like everyone was just. It's not like just like everyone was just standing there while the two combatants were going at it. Yeah, loved everything, including the tribute from one tribute to AJ, the tribute to Daniel, the tribute to Jarrett, Angle,
Joe.
It just lets you know this is not only a great match, it's the perfect thank you or love you letter to TNA match. Hey, this is our way of saying thank you for everything. We're gonna do your moves while put on a great match. Yeah, EY. I said before, probably the most underappreciated talent. After this match, no one can, bar none, doubt what he can do in the ring. if not already, but saying. So yeah, main event served its purpose. Josh, another notch on his belt. Looking forward to
Yeah,
this.
Craig, minute on the clock, buddy.
So as far as the spots of the BME, the Stars Clash, and everything else, the guitar shot, if they had been pointed out, oh, that's a wink to Jeff Jarrett, that's a wink to Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, I don't think anyone would have really noticed. Like that's just been part of the match and part of unless you have got TNA under a microscope for the past 20 years. Like no, you wouldn't have really remembered those certain things unless you have watched it every single week for that entire 20 years.
That's fair.
And watched it under a microscope. So as far as all the spots go, perfect. That match from start to finish was perfect. I mean, it kind of, I wouldn't say ruined it, but it was a bit. We knew Eric Young was going to lose, so that took, I think, a bit of the shine off the match. Okay. But in terms of the match itself, Josh and EY, perfection. Nothing to fault in that match.
Right.
There's nothing to fault, and the fact that it's 20 years later, and people are still calling Impact underdog. It sucks, but I know they still are. But that match, if you go back, if you watch that match, that's as good or better than any World Title main event from any promotion in the last 2-3 years.
I said in the group chat, they made us look old with those homages. I'm like, chill, guys.
I think that.
We ain't that.
Yeah, I think you have a point to both of you guys. I mean, it's not that far back. At the same time, a lot of the heads that do watch wrestling now are younger to where they probably were not even. Well, I won't say not even born, but they weren't watching wrestling with detail.
They kind of heard this or seen highlights.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go as far as saying that. I'll have to go back and watch the match. I thought it was a good nod and a good love letter. I thought that was a great way of putting it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Lucha, where's your head at with this?
Yeah, y'all took my line because I said that in the pre-show that the whole show was gonna be a love letter to TNA. So with that under consideration, this was that last paragraph of the letter. It was anyway. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm doing well. The kids are starting school tomorrow. It's the wrap up of the love letter. It's like, I hope to hear from you. Thank you for everything. I'll always remember you. You'll always be a part of my heart. Type
an angle love letter.
That's what the main. Yeah, that was the main event. It was that last part that just that cherry on top. Now I gotta combat what Craig said with EY being in the main event going against Josh. We kind of know that kind of took the shine off. I mean, who's going to see Batman expecting the Joker to actually kill?
What a
Batman?
great analogy. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that's just I mean that's what it is with wrestling. The reason why I was always with Eric, I was for Eric Young being in this position over someone like a Jay White or even an Eddie Edwards who's at least a homer, is like no one available that can go like EY can would have been good for this position of fighting for history as well, but also fuck your history because I'm crazy and I took a prosthetic leg and used it to choke her angle with. So I don't give a damn.
All right.
About it.
So I agree with you guys. We're way over. So I want to say thank you. Obviously, we got a tie here, and I'm just gonna give you all a little time to say, plug your shit and say goodbye. But I also want to end that if we could keep them really quick. Let me know what you rated this show, A through D. What your thoughts on it. I agree with the over tone of that. I'm okay with being underdogs when you look at it as a comparison, right? I don't compare us to anyone. We are a show that I enjoy. But I thought if this is someone watching this for the first time, I think it's something that I would want to back, even if it is the small one, I guess, technically. Let's go left to right. Io, what do you got to say, buddy? You want to plug some stuff, say thanks, whatever?
Yeah, it's been a good time doing this with you guys, so I appreciate it. A minus.
A minus.
That's what I gotta give the show. Like, if you're a TNA, if you're an OG, present, future, this was the show. Like, it had everything from, like, from the talent to the matches. Yeah, it's also like the best probably anniversary show. Well, I mean, this is my opinion. Like, I haven't really seen much anniversary shows, but this is probably up there. Yep, and it just goes to show, like, hey, TNA, Impact Wrestling, they're doing all right. They're doing all right.
Live and kicking. Craig.
Yeah.
The show. I agree with IO. A minus. I think, the matches, match by match, was perfect. Great matches. I mean, a few misses, but nothing major. Not enough to warrant it less than A minus. So, but I mean, I see it every time in pay-per-view, and they knock it out the park. I say it every time. They're at a level. They never drop below it. Right. Never. And to the people who keep tweeting saying, "Oh, stop sleeping on Impact, stop sleeping on Impact." If people sleep on Impact now, let them sleep. It's on them now.
Yeah. Let them stay. Let them stay with their eyes closed. Lucha.
Let sleeping dogs lie. I think that makes sense. My grade for this show, I give it a TNA+. Yeah, I did that cheesiness. But yeah, and I don't, whether this was done by design, or what, but this was the first time watching a Slammiversary, and it's celebrating the history of the company. This is the first one that actually felt like an anniversary show versus just, hey, it's Slammiversary. You know what I'm saying? Like, last year's was, hey, it's the first show with no fans for us, so there's that. But this is the first time I feel like the legacy has actually been celebrated.
Yeah, and done justice.
So I loved it from that point. As far as a Slammiversary, like, anniversary show, this is the best Slammiversary of all time. I can say that. Quality of show, maybe that's another question, but as far as the definition, this is the best Slammiversary of all time.
We will end it on that. That is a bold statement. Go back and watch this Slammiversary. Go back and watch previous Slammiversaries. I know I will, literally, when I get off of this, go back and watch that one that just hit last night. I thought it was a great overall. It was nice because the camaraderie was there. No matter if you hate Impact, there wasn't much of that out there. It was just a bunch of people celebrating a 20-year history and having a good time with it, it felt like. So I thought we had a good time here. I hope you guys had a good time watching us. Shout out to Io, Craig, and Lucha. You can check them out on Twitter. Obviously, you can see their Twitter tags right there. And then also, of course, you can see Craig every Thursday, TBN Chats, Lucha, Season 2 of LOL TNA coming, and then he's also we're doing some other things here and there. And then Io, of course, the man behind the tweets. So go ahead and add him, and then add us to TNAW channel, and shout him out. All right, guys, thank you for watching.
Subscribe.
Yes, I'm the subscribe guy. All right, guys, thank you so much. Bye.
Peace.
Peace.